Welcome to the B-Town Breakdown. We have a big weekend in sports, lots of stuff to unpack. This is Gabe Fenster, Jayden Betron, and I'm Kara Adams. Let's get right into it. Okay, I first want to start with the NBA. So, Gabe, the Miami Heat, Tyler Hero, were you right? Maybe. Yes?
I mean, you sound surprised.
No, I should never question your judgment.
Just like Tyler Hero, I was confident in his game. So, I want to hear what Jayden has to say, because he wasn't too confident. He was saying Tyler was delusional. So, let's hear what you have to say.
He's impressed the first 3 games, but again, this is an 82-game season. Let's see if he can sustain a 29-point-per-game season, and I really just don't think he can.
I mean, he's coming off the bench, first of all, and he's already dropping 29, so let's see. I mean, obviously he's not going to sustain 29 points a game, but...
And what's with the rebounding numbers? His rebounding numbers, he's averaging 8 rebounds a game.
He's always been a great rebounder. He's a very aggressive player.
He's an aggressive player, but he's not going to average 29 and 8 through 82.
If he gets the minutes, he 100% will average 29 and 8.
But he's not even starting right now. Like, he's coming off the bench.
But it doesn't matter. The 6 man can get the same amount of minutes as starting 5. It's just coming off the bench. Because you got to rotate your players.
Yeah, well, I mean, Tyler Hero has done great through the first 3 games. Let's see if he can sustain it. I have to say, I made a mistake last week, and I'm ready to move past it, especially with Tyler Hero.
I'd love to hear that.
My actual breakout player of the year was Miles Bridges. I said LaMelo Ball last year, and he's balling out. But I did want to say Miles Bridges is my breakout player of the year. He's shooting almost double what he did last year, and he took a massive jump last year and moved into a good leadership position with him and LaMelo Ball running the pick and roll. And I think that if he continues to do that and continues to grow his shot tendency, I think he's going to grow into a good, nice 20-point-per-game scorer, well-rounded player, defensively, offensively, and I think that's what the Hornets need to be successful.
Yeah, no, Bridges is a freak, and with him and Melo, the duo there, Melo making the plays and setting him up for shots and drives like that, he's going to be consistently getting over 20 a game.
Yeah.
For sure.
Wow. Not much to argue on.
I know a little more about Tyler Hero, but that can lead me into my next question about the Heat as a whole. So even with Tyler Hero, if he keeps this up, do you all think they can make it to the Eastern Conference Finals?
100%. 100%.
Who would you say?
I don't even think they're a top 3 seed in the East.
Whoa, okay.
I don't think they're a top 3 or 4 seed in the East.
Look, all right. I see, and I'm not even being biased.
They're not better than the Bulls. I was right about the Bulls.
You were right about the Bulls.
I was right about the Bulls.
I love Miami as a South Florida boy. I'm going to be a little biased towards Miami, but right now I'm not going to be biased, and I'm going to say Miami is the best defensive team in the league, and defense is going to win a championship.
What about this new Bulls team? I mean, they're coming off. They're off to a hot start.
No, the Bulls have been the surprising team because they've shown out in every game so far and have not scored over 100 points in a game yet, which I found surprising as hell to say. But
Bulls are like
there. But the Bulls have not scored over 100 points in a game yet. But they've also held every single team they played against under 80 points a game, under 90 points a game. You didn't expect that from the Bulls, and so they're showing out defensively. But the Knicks are the best defensive team in the league.
I mean, to be fair, the Bulls have been playing teams like the Toronto Raptors led by Goran Dragic.
And OG and the newbie.
I gotta give props to OG, but the Bulls do have one of the best offensive teams in the league, but they don't even come close defensively to the Miami Heat.
Well, you mentioned the Knicks for defense.
The Knicks are the best defensive team in the league.
And the Knicks and the Bulls play Thursday night.
How? The Knicks are the best defensive team in the league.
Give me 5 players on the Knicks that can play defense.
They don't
And
need top.
Exactly. Thank you.
They don't need a lockdown defender. They have Tom Thibodeau. As
They don't need a lockdown defender. Yet the best
Tom
defensive team in the
Thibodeau
league.
is the best defensive coach in the league.
So once Tom Thibodeau's the coach of the league, everyone's automatically. This isn't like 2K. They give a badge and everyone's upgraded.
This is how it works. When you have the best
Tell us,
defensive
Jayden,
coach
how
in the
does it
league,
work?
that culture that he built last year and over the last couple of years spreads down to the organization. They all work hard as a unit. You don't need a lockdown defender if you're defending well as a unit. Their rotations, the way the ball moves, and the way they slide and rotate for one another, it's amazing basketball to watch. I think the Knicks are going to show out and be a top 5 seed in the East, in my opinion.
You were right about Tyler Hero, so yeah, you'll be right about the Knicks.
I mean,
yeah,
we'll say.
Yeah.
But
Well, that can wrap it up for our NBA talk. Let's get into the MLB. Okay, so I want your all's opinions for who you think is going to win the MLB World Series. Here you go.
So I would like to see Atlanta take it because it's the Astros and it's the Astros. I mean, but I do think Houston is going to take it because they're so much more offensively. Like they're such an offensive dominant team, and I don't think without Acuna they can beat Houston.
not a lot to argue. I mean, I'd like to see the
Braves.
Atlanta take it. I don't want to see the Astros win. The only thing I will say, I mean, I think the Astros will take it. The Braves just have a really strong bullpen, so I think that could cause some problems for the Astros. But I don't
Overall,
see them losing.
you're
They're just
taking the Astros?
such a strong unit. It's hard to see them lose.
All right, well, we can move on from the MLB, and Jayden is going to break down the UFC fights that we have coming up this weekend next. All right, Jayden, I'm just going to leave it all over to you. Take it away.
Yeah, so UFC 267 is this weekend. The weekend this taping comes out, to be exact. We have 2 fights that I want to break down. The bantamweight interim title fight between Peter Yan and Corey the Sandman Sandhagen. Corey Sandhagen just came off a loss, his first loss in 5 fights, to TJ Dillashaw, who is a solidified UFC Hall of Famer and came back off of a 2-year layoff. And a lot of people actually think Corey won that fight. It went 5 rounds, was a split decision final. He's fighting Peter Yan, who was stripped from his title after his defense against Aljamain Sterling, who he was dominant, was winning 3 out of the 5 rounds, and unfortunately threw an illegal knee, which disqualified him from the match and ended up shifting the belt to Aljamain Sterling. So this is the interim title fight because Aljamain had spinal surgery, so he needed to take a little bit of time off. So he's not defending. This is the interim fight, so whoever wins this is going to be fighting Aljamain Sterling in December for the bantamweight title fight. So, I mean, Peter Yan versus Corey Sandhagen. Corey is one of the tallest bantamweights ever. He's a 6'3", I believe, and Peter Yan is 5'6". So there's a huge height difference there, a huge reach difference. Peter Yan just brings the pace, brings the power. He's such a strong fighter. Corey is just different. He moves differently, has so many different angles he can throw at him. So I think that's a little bit of a tough distinction for them. The next fight is the light heavyweight title fight between Glover Teixeira and Jan Blachowicz. Jan Blachowicz has defended the belt once against Israel Adesanya, took his O. Glover Teixeira is 42 years old, went on a 5-fight win streak, and now has fought some of the biggest 205ers in the game, and is now in title contention at 42 years old. And this is Jan's now first legitimate defense against a solidified light heavyweight. He fought Israel, but he was a 185er. This is a hard fight to match up as well. They stylistically are great matchups for one another, so I'm excited for this weekend.
Thank you, Jayden. That was a good breakdown. Next, we're going to pass it on over to Are You Even a Fan?, where our reporter Zach Greene goes around our campus and asks some of our local students some IU trivia questions and to see if they are actually a fan.
What's up, Hoosiers fans? My name's Zach Greene, and I'm standing outside the Jacobs School of Music today. And it was a tough weekend for Hoosier sports. The football team lost 54-7 against Ohio State. But on the bright side of things, the basketball program picked up a 4-star recruit in Ja'Kai Newton. And today we're going to be going around asking fans fake questions to see if they're even an IU fan. All right, guys, I'm here with
Ted Ford.
Meg.
Ben Dunnan.
Lauren Taylor.
My name's Jonah Ente.
You know, Indiana got killed 54-7, but it's okay because we're a basketball school.
Yeah, of course.
So over or under 15 minutes? Did you stay over 15 minutes or under 15 minutes?
Actually, I stayed over. believe it or
Over.
not.
There we go. Real fan right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stayed for a whole quarter.
A little over.
A little over. Okay.
Well, I'd say we got there about like 5:30, so a little over 15 minutes.
Okay.
But we stayed about 15 minutes into the
Oh,
game.
the actual game, yeah. Today's probably one of the coldest days of the year so far. It's beautiful out, it's sunny, but you are wearing shorts, a t-shirt, and some sandals. How are you feeling about that?
You know, when I woke up this morning, I think some mistakes were made. I put on my flip-flops, and knowing that I wouldn't have enough time to change my clothes, I walked 20 minutes in my flip-flops, my shorts and t-shirt. And you know what? It's not that bad.
Indiana basketball actually picked up a huge recruit. He's a 4-star recruit out of Florida. His name's Kelly Oubre. He's a shooting guard. He's very lengthy. How you feeling about that?
Well, I didn't know about it until right now, but gives me some hope for the winter, I guess.
Definitely good. I think from our basketball season last year, it went not as well as
Yeah.
anyone really hoped. So if someone like him can turn the program around, I think that'd be perfect and exactly
Yeah.
what we need.
I know news broke right before the game that we picked up a new 4-star shooting guard. His name's Wardell Curry. He's out of Florida, South Beach. How you feeling about that? Steph Curry, bro. We got a real fan! We got a real fan!
Thanks, Zach. So a lot went wrong with Indiana football this weekend. Let's get into it. What do you have to say?
I mean,
Everything went wrong.
No, yeah, you go first.
his defense looked great for the first couple weeks, and then this happened. Blowout. Tuttle
No
looked
Tuttle.
good. Tuttle looked good in the first drive. I mean, we put together a solid drive,
Mhm.
scored a nice touchdown, and then he got like poked or something, and then he was out for the game or came back in the third quarter or whatever and ran a couple plays, and then we had Gremlin or whatever his name is coming at fourth string, and just never goes well from there. So, IU football, baby.
Gabe?
I mean, IU football
Can't
is
really
fine,
say
so,
anything
yeah.
other than that.
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of hope going into the game, actually. I always hope for an upset. I was hoping to rush the field. But that clearly didn't happen.
Yeah.
Anyways, so, yeah, Jack Tuttle, first drive, I was really confident with that. And then he went down. And then McCullough came in and he went down. And then
It's
Gremel,
a series of events
Gremel came
as
in
it
and
kept
he pretty much went down because he didn't do anything for us. But then we caused a safety, and that was pretty much the game.
Pretty much the end, yeah.
Wow! But yeah, Indiana football is fine, as Jade said. Like,
Well, they head to Maryland this weekend. Do you all have any hope at all? Do you think we can get a win there?
I mean, yeah, like I said back in the first episode, I believe they could beat Rutgers. It's gonna be
Well,
tough against.
we're playing Maryland, so I'll take it from here.
Take it
I really believe that we can either drop one to either Maryland or Rutgers. I think we'll win one of them, but I will think we will drop one of them. Can't tell you which one, but that's my
Right.
prediction. We're either going to win or lose this one, or win or lose the Rutgers one, as pretty much any game goes. You're either going to win or lose. But I think we're going to drop one of those two.
Alright, so they're IU football, so I'm gonna take it from here. So I believe they're gonna lose both games.
This time, what?
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, Jack Tuttle's hurt, Mike Penix is hurt, McCullough's
But they're
hurt.
week to week, so who knows? They could be back in. You never know.
No. There's no way. And even if there was a way, there's no chance we'll even make a bowl game. Like we might get the Outback Bowl again, but there's no really a point of winning or losing anymore.
All right. Well, speaking of Big Ten football as a whole, Penn State had a huge weekend against Illinois. That was just crazy. What are your all's thoughts on that?
9 overtimes and a loss. Doesn't look good for Penn State. They're facing Ohio State next week. It's a tough scene for them. They seem to always start off strong, have a great season, and then halfway through seem to collapse. Sean Clifford is really the deciding factor for them, as we've seen. And I don't think they can be successful without him. So.
Gabe, what do you think?
Yeah, I turned on the game I think like about mid third quarter, and I don't even remember what time it was when it ended. But I think, 7 overtimes is the longest NCAA football game, and this hit 9, so that beat it by 2. Crazy game. I was hoping Illinois won, but...
Right. All right, well, that's going to do it for our show today. Be sure to follow IUSTV Sports on Twitter and Instagram. And for Jayden Betron, Gabe Fenster, I'm Kara Adams, and we'll see you next week.